What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we got a brand new leak regarding not next year's Call of Duty game, but the Call of Duty after that, so COD 2027. And this leak is coming from the Ghost of Hope, who, if you guys aren't familiar, he is probably the most prominent Call of Duty leaker at the moment. He obviously has some inside sources based on all of the leaks in the past that turn out to be perfectly accurate. His track record is very, very good. However, in saying that, keep in mind this is a very early leak since we're talking about the Call of Duty that's coming in 2 years from now. So even if it's accurate now, things could easily change between now and then. But it was something I found interesting at least, and I wanted to talk about it today. And the specifics of what he leaked here are COD 2027 is going to be led by Sledgehammer Games, but it's not Advanced Warfare 2, and it will be set in a completely new sub-franchise. So not a Modern Warfare game, not a Black Ops game, not an Advanced Warfare game. And with this, it will apparently be set in the modern era. There will be no jetpacks, but movement is planned to be a big focus. So perhaps that means Omni movement is still going to be around in COD 2027, and probably even beyond that if there's a huge focus on it. He also mentioned zombies is currently not planned for the game. However, the Get High mode, which they introduced in Modern Warfare 3, that is planned to return. And one of the most interesting and kind of strange parts of this is there's going to be a big focus on martial arts within the gameplay with karate kicks and karate chops as examples. And to me, that just sounds so strange for a first-person shooter game where the focus should be on the shooting mechanics, at least in my eyes. But it definitely sounds like something different, at least. And what this means for our general timeline going forward for the next few years of Call of Duty is, of course, this year we have Black Ops 7. That's already officially confirmed. And also, I guess speaking on that, he also revealed today that the rumored release date for Black Ops 7, which hasn't been confirmed yet, is actually going to be November 14th. So it's going to be a fairly late release for a Call of Duty game. I mean, all Call of Duties always launch within the window of like the last week of October, up until potentially the second week of November, but it's usually last week of October or first week of November, with some Call of Duty games pushing into the second week. And this is going to be one of those games that pushes into that second week. So a little bit late, but still within that general window that we expect. Then next year, this has been rumored for a while. I don't think I've really talked about it much on the channel because I don't usually talk about leaks this early on. But for COD 2026, this one is rumored to be an Infinity Ward game, and it will apparently be Modern Warfare 4, which is honestly not too surprising to see. And with that one, apparently this is where we're going to be seeing some big changes to how they're handling many aspects. They're going to be refocusing on various areas, and apparently Modern Warfare 4 is not going to feel like the past several Call of Duty games that we've had. This one will apparently be a bit of a leap forward, rather than just more of the same. But obviously, that is an early leak as well. Time will tell on that. And then, like I said, for COD 2027, we've got this Sledgehammer Call of Duty that's going to be a completely new sub-franchise. And I wanted to dive a bit deeper into each of these points that he already shared. First off, the fact that this is a new sub-franchise, I think is excellent. That's something I've been pushing for. I made a video not too long ago talking about how I feel they need to break this cycle of just having infinite numbers of Black Ops games and Modern Warfare games and just cycling back and forth between the two. That, I think, is contributing heavily to franchise fatigue. We need something new. We need new characters. We need a new story. We need something that feels truly new and unique, but within Call of Duty, at least in my opinion. And it looks like that's what we're going to be getting in COD 2027. This also means, again, assuming this is true, thankfully they are going to be breaking away from that multi-year cycle that we've been experiencing now, where it's the same sub-franchise back-to-back. So like we had Modern Warfare 2 immediately going into Modern Warfare 3, and now this time around we've got Black Ops 6 immediately going into Black Ops 7. I'm happy to see that apparently it's not going to be Modern Warfare 4 immediately going into Modern Warfare 5, and instead we're going to be seeing something truly new and unique here. And the fact that it's Sledgehammer Games, I am really happy to see as well. I really like how Sledgehammer Games has been handling things with their past couple titles, actually. I know Vanguard was a bit of a flop. I think a lot of that was just due to the weird setting and stuff that they had. But as far as how they actually handled multiplayer and the community support for that game, as well as especially Modern Warfare 3, I really do look at Sledgehammer Games very positively right now. And I would say they're probably my favorite studio at the moment when it comes to Call of Duty multiplayer. And I was honestly a little bit worried that they weren't going to be getting their own Call of Duty project as the lead. So I'm glad to see they will be taking charge of COD 2027. Then when it comes to this being set in the modern era, I'm totally cool with that as well. For me, my personal preference for Call of Duty setting, or at least timeline, is either modern to near future. I don't mind the ones that are set in the past, but I do think that can be a little bit limiting as far as how they can tell the story and what kinds of items that they can use while sticking to the general theme, which I know they generally don't do, but then I don't like it when they don't stick to that general theme and timeline. So by being modern or near future, it definitely opens up a little bit more freedom for creativity with the developers, without getting overboard and being like super futuristic and having things just like totally out there. So modern sounds fine to me. Then the fact that there's no jetpack but movement is planned to be a big focus. For me and my preferences within Call of Duty, this also sounds quite good. I like when there's a lot of movement present, as long as it's not completely overkill. I think there needs to be some balance found so that the game does have wide appeal and it doesn't just appeal to players like myself. I think there needs to be a bit of a balance there, but I definitely prefer movement being a big focus rather than not a focus at all and basically taking away all movement options. Then the fact that zombies isn't currently planned, that's interesting. I wonder if this means they're going to be coming up with their own thing. Maybe what he was referring to when he says get high is planned to return, maybe they're really going to be expanding on that, and something like that is actually going to be taking over zombies. I don't think that would be a proper replacement for zombies though, even though get high seemed to be fairly popular with many people in the community. So definitely curious to see what the third mode will be, if there is even going to be a third mode. And then finally, like I said, with the whole martial arts stuff, the karate kicks and karate chops, I really wonder if that's actually going to be like a big focus of the game where you're going to be using those elements like consistently throughout a match, or if it's more so just going to be a gimmick and something that you can do as like maybe a flashy move or something, but isn't actually a part of the core gameplay and you could just go throughout games without ever seeing it or ever using it. Time will tell on that. It definitely sounds strange in an FPS game where the focus should generally be the shooting mechanics, but of course we will have to wait and see. And this is really all we've got so far when it comes to CoD 2027. Obviously, there's still a ton of questions up in the air. It's super early on. Even the things we do learn about now, they could easily be changed between now and the launch of the game. They're still in the very early stages of getting that game together, of course. But at least when it comes to the general things that we learned today, like Sledgehammer being in charge, a new sub-franchise rather than just Modern Warfare 5, and it being set in the modern era, I'm happy to hear those things. But at the same time, it's way too early to develop any sort of hype for a game coming in 2 years from now, when this is really all we know about it. So initial thoughts, positive, but there are 1,000 different ways they could drop the ball, so time will have to tell on this. It is very early on. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, assuming these leaks end up being true. And this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about this big picture look at Call of Duty in the coming years? Do you guys like the idea of next year being Modern Warfare 4 with Infinity Ward, and then the year after that being Sledgehammer with their brand new sub-franchise? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.